Hi guys, my name is Bas and welcome to episode 4 of my R tutorials here on YouTube. In the previous episodes I've explained the basics of R, so what are the windows, what are the basic functions, how do you create a data frame, a matrix or a list. And today we're gonna have a look at exploring your data, because I assume that once you have your own data set that you want to open it. I've already shown you how to do that in episode 2, but for now I'll just quickly repeat it. I do recommend watching the previous episodes because they explain a lot on R, but you're not obligated to do so because I'll explain everything right here in this video as well. So if this video is helpful to you, then please leave a like and subscribe to this YouTube channel. That would be very, very much appreciated. So if you would want to open your dataset, you would go to File and then Import Dataset and then from SPSS. And then on the right you would press Browse. And then you would go to the correct map and then open, for example, this vector analysis dataset. And it will then open and then you press Import on the lower right. And then your SPSS dataset gets opened here in R. But today we're not going to work with the SPSS dataset, but we're going to work with a dataset which is supplied to you by R itself, but it's hidden in a package called the tidyverse. So if you haven't installed the tidyverse already, you type in your source code install point packages and then tidyverse between quotation marks, very important, and then you run it. In my case, I've already downloaded it, so I don't need to run this code, but I only need to open it again by pressing library and then tidyverse, and then run that code. So now you have activated the tidyverse package, so you can use the functions and the data sets which are inside of it. And we're going to use the Star Wars dataset today. So you're first going to have a glance at it. We're pressing View and then Star Wars, and then pressing Control Enter, and then the Star Wars dataset is opened right here in front of you. And the next step will be to clean your data set, so to make it completely clean. But before you do that, you have to explore your data set, and that's what we're going to do today. We're going to have a look at the variables, the data types, and the missing values, because you need to check those first before you can actually clean your data set. So you first can have a glimpse, literally, at the Star Wars data set, and so you can type glimpse, and then between brackets Star Wars, and then run that code, and then in the bottom of your console screen, you can see that that there are a total of 14 different variables and 87 rows. So that means 87 respondents. If you go back to Star Wars, you can see that there are 87 characters and that there are 14 variables. You can see that in the glimpse as well. Rows is 87, so 87 characters, and columns is 14, so 14 characters. And those characters are name, height, mass, etc., etc. And they are different data types. So name, for example, is a character. Well, height is a numeric variable, but it is an int variable, which means that it's a concrete variable. So it can only be complete numbers, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, etc., but not 4.2 or 4.8. The DBL character, however, is a numeric variable as well, but it can be a decimal number as well, so 76.5 or 85.3. So that's the difference between the int2 and the int and the DBL variable. And in the bottom you can see that the last 3 variables are list variables. I've explained in episode, I think 3, how to make a list, or in episode 2. But if you go to the Star Wars dataset again, and then look on the right to films, you can see that every character has a list of the films he features in. So for Luke Skywalker is the first character, he features in a list of films which you can see over here. So that's how you use the glimpse function. If you want to know very quickly how many dimensions there are, so the amount of variables and the amount of respondents, you can also use dim function, and then the Star Wars dataset, and then press Control Enter. And then if you go to the bottom, you can see once again 87 and 14, which means that there are 87 respondents and 14 different variables. Okay, so today we want to have a look at missing values as well, or otherwise known as non-available values. So how do you do that? Well, we don't want to continue typing Star Wars every single time. So the easiest thing is to use the attach function and then Star Wars, and run it. And then the dataset, the R now knows that you only want to take a look at the Star Wars dataset. So you don't have to type in Star Wars every time. So the function we're going to do to look at all the different values of the hair color, we're going to look at the hair color variable, and we want to take a look at all the different values it has. So you use the unique function and then type in hair color. And if you then run it, then in the bottom of your screen, you can see that there are a lot of different values, being blonde, not available, so missing, none, brown gray, black, auburn white, auburn gray, white, gray, auburn, blonde, and unknown. And you might just assume that not available, so missing, and none and unknown are the same, but actually they are not. None as hair means that they are bald, and unknown means that it is simply, it was recorded, but it is not known of this character what type of the hair he or she has. NA, so not available, those values are actually missing. So those are the ones you want to take a look at. Because we want to know why are there missing values and how many values are missing. And is that a problem? Is there a confounder which causes these missing values? So you would want to take a look at view, over here, want to have a look at the table function. So table of the hair color, but in this case we also want to type in view in front of it, because that makes it far more easier to view. So if you then select the code, view, and then table, and then hair color, and run it, then a new screen will open, and you can see the frequencies of all these different values. And you can see that there's one unknown value, and that there are none is here, and that there are 37 characters which have no hair at all. What we can see in this frequency table, that the not available, so the missing values, are missing. They're not stated here. So we need to have another look and another way at how we can find the missing values, how many of those there are, what is their frequency. And by doing so, we're going to use the pipe operator. So, and to do so, we do need to, again, even though Star Wars is already attached, we need to type Star Wars, so the dataset again. Then you press Ctrl-Shift-M, which means the pipe operator, which means and then. So we select Star Wars, and then we use the select function, because we want to select the hair color variable. Then we press Ctrl-Shift-M again, because after selecting it, we want to count it. And count, and then between brackets, hair color. And then we use Ctrl-Shift-M again, because we also want to view it, have a nice view. So we want to select the hair color variable and count all the frequencies, and then view the table. Then you select the code and press Ctrl-Enter, and then a new table opens, and in this table you can see, besides none and unknown, you can also see the non-available, which are 5, which has a frequency of 5, which means that there are 5 variables, in which case 5 characters who have a missing value in terms of hair. And then we want to take a look, well, which of those characters are that? Can there be some type of correlation between them? Is there a way in which you can identify those? Well, then you press Star Wars, then you press View, and then for the dataset Star Wars, and then you use a square bracket, and then between the brackets we type is.na, which means is not available, and then for the character hair color. And then afterwards you need to write a comma before the bracket closes again. So we want to view for the Star Wars dataset all the is not available, so all the non-available values for hair color. And then we select the code and run it. And then over here you can see that the 5 characters, so C3PO, R2D2, R5D4, Greedo, and Jabba. And those are the ones with a hair color not available. So those are missing. So now we know how to identify the missing values. And is there a correlation? Well, the skin colors differ, the eye colors differ, their birth years differ, their sexes differ, their genders are the same, but it's not really a reason why the hair is missing. 3 of them are droids, so that could be the reason why they don't have hair, because droids are robots and they don't have hair. But it's not that all 5 of them are droids, so we can't really say that being a droid is a big influence on this. So that's how you explore your data set and how to identify missing values. Then in the next video, I'll explain to you guys how you would actually clean your data set. But for now, I want to thank you for watching. If it was helpful to you, then please leave a like on this video and subscribe to this YouTube channel. I want to make it grow as much as possible. And for now, guys, I see you on the next tutorial. Ciao.